Magnolia State weather. Let me fix that camera real quick. All right, there we go. Sorry that I wasn't here earlier. I was a little busy with some stuff, and so let me fix this camera real quick. We have two tornado warnings down in Pearl River County. Now, these were warned in Louisiana, but I was busy, so I have to say I'm sorry about that. Was not too worried about them, so that's why I didn't hurry up and jump on. I was busy and I wasn't too worried about them. But now that I'm not busy, I'm of course going to cover this. Two tornado warnings down here in Pearl River County. Both of these just off to the east of Poplarville. If you will, please go ahead and like and share the live stream. It's the best way we're going to get um, anything out there for Magnolia State weather. But yes, these tornado warnings here. We'll take a look at the velocity. You'll see definitely some good rotation on this storm to the south. This is right over east of Shinquapin. I believe that's the pronunciation. Shinquapin. This is off to the southwest of Poplarville, moving off to the east. Let's see how fast this is moving. This is moving off to the east at 15 miles an hour. Wow, this is moving really slowly, but that is a very, very well defined rotation signature um, right there in Pearl River County. Moving over, you can see it right there. Let's go ahead and let's plan this out. Let's go ahead and do some settings here. Okay, go ahead and plan this out. Okay, there we go. Sorry, had to get the settings figured out. All right, this will be over Derby in 20 minutes, Nortac in 24 minutes, Juniper Grove in 32 minutes. So that one's moving straight through central Pearl River County. You got one to the north as well. And so this area of rotation north of that rotation is off to the northwest of Poplarville. No big communities in the way of this one. About to cross over Oak Hill Road, though. And so moving that forward, this will be over Orvisburg. Be over Orvisburg in 18 minutes and Hillsdale in about 21 minutes. And so that's where we're sitting with that storm off to the north. Both of these with decent areas of rotation, but nothing too impressive. But I would say be in your safe space if you're in these tornado warnings down there in Pearl River County. Big special weather statement with this one that expires in 9 minutes for 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Like I said, I'm not too worried about these storms moving through. Um, I guess a spin up tornado cannot be ruled out, obviously, with any storms, but um, just because a tornado warning gets issued does not necessarily mean a tornado is going to be on the ground. But overall, I'm seeing some good rotation with these storms, to say the least. So we'll play these forward, seeing how quickly they're moving. Actually, moving fairly slow. Any other storms to look for? As of right now, not really. I mean, you have other thunderstorms. This storm down here to the south that's moving up to the northeast towards White Sand. I'd be a little more worried about this cell. This is over Hooper Skylark Field Aerodrome. And so that is just off to the northeast of Henleyfield. This one looks pretty decent. This storm looks like it's wrapping itself together. That classic hook echo shape that you look for. And so I would say definitely if you're on the south system, be ready because this looks like a fairly tight area of rotation here. Just to the northeast of Henleyfield. Looking at this, not seeing any debris being lofted, which is a good sign. But overall, I mean, classic shape with this storm. You can see it here, classic kidney bean shape. And so this storm definitely trying to get its act together there. Like I said, sorry I wasn't live earlier. I know we had some tornado warnings going through our Florida parishes there in Louisiana, but I was a little busy, so um, being busy plus I wasn't too worried about these storms moving through. And so that's why I didn't rush to go live. And so, like I said, two tornado warnings for Pearl River County. Poplarville is not included in these tornado warnings as of right now. Let's see if I can find any damage reports. Let's see if we can find anything. It's just the 12 hours. Not seeing any reports across Mississippi. No severe weather reports. So that's a good thing. Always good to not see any damage reports. I'm gonna see if we can get a camera here from Poplarville here in just a second. Please excuse me, playing with my playing with the setup here that we haven't used in a while. I hope y'all are having a good night, everyone that is tuning in. I'm definitely a good night that I've had. I can't find anything, so no sky cams on this one. Had wind damage around Tupelo. Go back to the velocity here, see what these storms are looking like. The storm up to the north here, not looking as impressive for me. But then this storm down south, that's a pretty decent velocity signature, I'm gonna be honest. So if I'm gonna like say my worry on these, I'd say storm up here northwest of Poplarville, I'd say roughly 2 of 10. I'd say I'm roughly worried about it 20%. But this storm down here, uh, southwest of Poplarville, I'd say this is roughly a 6 out of 10 area of rotation. That's why I'm going to give priority to this southern storm, but we're going to cover both of them here. So if you're in these tornado warnings, be in your safe spot, but I'm a little more worried about this area of rotation down south. This is about to cross over Southern Valley Road. That's to the west, the southwest of Poplarville, south of White Sand. A very good looking hook echo there on this storm. Definitely see that nice kidney bean shape with this storm. Very tight area of rotation. Um, but I mean, it's only relatively a maybe 60 mile an hour area of rotation, so still fairly weak. But something to keep in mind, to say the least. Both of these tornado warnings are radar indicated, so nothing confirmed. And I think even the tornado warnings down in Louisiana earlier tonight were also radar indicated. I don't think those were ever confirmed, so that's good. Overall, let's look out to the bigger picture real quick. Those two tornado warnings down there, but you have some heavy rain spanning basically all the way from what is this, Macon down through Philadelphia, down through Scott County into Rankin County, and then down through Hazelhurst, Brookhaven, and down towards Marksville, Louisiana. And that's where that main line is basically kind of forming now, moving off to the east. But overall, these are some prefrontal supercells that are actually producing these tornado warnings down in Pearl River County. If this area of rotation continued on, this would be in Poplarville in about 30 minutes. Zooming in a little closer, West Poplarville in 25 minutes, Nortac in 21 minutes. Let's see, find any other communities ahead of this. This is about to cross over John Armacker Road. And this is also going to head up towards White Sand. I'd say in about 5 to 10 minutes, this will be over White Sand. Remember, make sure to um, like and share the live stream. Easiest way for Magnolia State weather to grow. That would be very much appreciated, especially whenever we're getting a late start. A little bit behind in terms of being live, but like I said, it's a marginal risk for severe weather that I actually didn't think is too big of a severe weather concern. And so that's why I didn't necessarily make being live tonight a massive priority. Sure, you have tornado warnings, but that does not necessarily mean that tornadoes are on the ground. And I think that may have been what happened in um, there in the Florida parishes. But overall, still tornado warnings now. Plus, I'm not busy, so can definitely cover it now. How's the weather doing in Smithdale? Good question. Let's check real quick. Down in Smithdale, I mean, you got some, I guess, heavy to moderate rain moving through. Overall, I mean, I don't think you're gonna have any severe weather issues there in Smithdale. Just some rain lingering throughout the night. Should be clear by the morning. So the tornado warning to the northwest of Poplarville. That area of rotation is about to cross over Oak Hill Road. That's just off to the northwest of Poplarville. This will continue on to the northeast and will eventually cross towards uh, Ovisburg, towards Hillsdale, and then eventually up towards Lumberton there in southern Forest or in southern Lamar County. But overall, that area of rotation is looking way weaker than the area of rotation farther south. That area of rotation is basically over Southern Valley Road, moving off to the northeast towards White Sand and towards Poplarville right now. And so Poplarville not under a tornado warning right now, but could be under a tornado warning before too long if this cell continues. And so that cell will probably reach Poplarville in about 25 minutes. These storms are moving very slowly at only 15 to 20 miles per hour. Once again, sorry that we don't have our big setup right now. It's the Easter weekend, so I'm here. I don't know if any of y'all saw the Facebook post, but kind of a rinky-dink put together setup for live streaming tonight. Mainly because, like I said, only a marginal risk, not a big severe weather event. And so I didn't feel like it warranted bending over backwards to get a big setup put together. But anyways, still watching this um, weather moving across South Mississippi at this point. And so what's happening? Well, these cells are a little farther south, so probably a little bit more moisture and a little bit better temperatures down there to fuel some severe weather. And so that's probably what's happening with these areas of rotation as they move towards, or as they move into central Pearl River County. Looking at the correlation coefficient, not seeing any debris being lofted, so that's very good. But overall, still some rotation with these storms. So if you're in these tornado warnings, I would suggest being in a safe spot because even though a tornado may not be on the ground, still some very, very well looking areas of rotation on these storms. And I don't usually say that. Usually, if I think a tornado is not going to be there, I usually tell you you're going to be okay. But overall, I know there's nothing on the ground right now, more than likely, but these areas of rotation could drop a quick tornado at any second. And so, like I said, that area of rotation to the south, crossing over South Valley Road to the southwest of Poplarville, and then the one to the northwest of Poplarville is just off to the south of Oak Hill Road. That is between the community of Ford's Creek and White Sand, out in the middle of Pearl River County. Let's take a look at some science stuff real quick. Let's see. BC soundings. Let's see what the atmosphere is looking like right now. Let's see if I can find anything. Okay, so here was what the atmosphere looked like at 7 p.m. So a little over 2.5 hours ago. Plenty of energy here in the atmosphere. Let's see, 2,200 joules per kilogram of CAPE. That's plenty to support severe weather. And then even some good areas of rotation, or good low level rotation, to possibly help produce a quick spin up tornado. Overall, not the best shear in the world. You need a good bit of wind shear to produce tornadoes. Right now, only 28 knots And so that's fairly weak, but at least a decent amount of directional shear in the lower atmosphere. And so that's what's allowing this tornado threat to ramp up there a little farther south. Jackson with a little less energy in the atmosphere and less wind shear. So that's why storms are only doing this a little farther south. But just a quick little science lesson on why these storms are doing what they're doing. Is anywhere around Forest County or anywhere around Forest, Mississippi going to be bad? That's up in Scott County. Overall, I know you're going through some heavy rain right now there in Scott County, but overall, I think you'll be okay for the most part. The Forest not seeing too much heavy rain right now, but you're about to have a big thunderstorm move through. Overall, maybe getting a little gusty at times, maybe some small hail, but overall, not seeing anything too concerning there in Scott County. Like I said, these areas of rotation are moving really slowly through Pearl River County. Area of rotation to the north has still yet to cross over Oak Hill Road, moving at roughly 10 to 15 miles per hour. Like I said, we'll continue to watch these storms. Right now, this storm or this area of rotation to the north would be over Orvisburg in 17 minutes and Hillsdale in 22 minutes. The area of rotation to the south looked a little more impressive, has kind of weakened out just a little bit, but this is moving up towards Poplarville, so that's why we're watching it right now. This area of rotation would be over West Poplarville in 22 minutes, Poplarville in 26 minutes. And so if I translate this over to local time, this would be over Poplarville at 10:17 and West Poplarville at 10:12. This would be over White Sand, I'd say, in roughly 5 minutes. Anything for Simpson County? I honestly think for the most part for Simpson County, let me check. Remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and send them in the chat. We can answer them, especially while the weather's kind of, I mean, we have 2 tornado warnings, but overall, not too worried about those tornado warnings. For Simpson County, overall, most of the county's clear right now. You got a thunderstorm off to your west, and that'll move through. I don't think that thunderstorm will give you too many issues. Like I said, maybe some gusty winds, maybe a little bit of hail, but I don't think you'll get any severe weather there in Smith County. Not Smith County, in Simpson County, sorry. But overall, that'll move through and move out of your way by the morning hours. For Smith County, let's see, for Smith County, still weather way off to your west. You're gonna have some thunderstorms roll in. I'm not quite sure if you'll get any severe weather there in Smith County. I'd say the likelihood's fairly low. Looks like all the energy's farther south than Smith County. Let's see. Let's go with Jones County. Jones County, I'd say you're far enough south that maybe these storms can get some ingredients to produce some severe weather, but gusty winds and a thunderstorm's about the most you're going to see tonight. Franklin County, you're kind of, I mean, you're almost done. I mean, you have some stratiform rain behind you over Natchez right now. Maybe some lightning possible throughout the night, but I think for the most part, your storms are basically done. You're just going to have residual rain throughout the night. Sorry, I lost internet for just a second. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Am I good? Am I back? Sorry, still going through some weather here, so I think we're good now. Sitting at 9:53 p.m. tonight. Luckily, like I said, these storms have not looked all too impressive, looking like these are mainly going to move through. You're going to get some rain, maybe some lightning for the rest of the night, and then you're going to wake up in the morning, going to go enjoy church. It's going to be great, going to be a nice Easter Sunday. And so that's one thing that's going to be very nice is these storms are really going to go ahead and move through, and your Easter Sunday is going to be absolutely amazing across Mississippi. And so that's one positive. Tornado warning in northern Pearl River County has been allowed to expire, or they removed it. So only one tornado warning now in Pearl River County. This area of rotation has weakened significantly over the last few minutes. The cell not looking as impressive anymore either. Maybe this cell might be running out of energy now. Not a ton of energy, or not a ton of wind shear in the atmosphere is also going to keep these cells from being able to last for a long period of time. Because what ends up happening is a severe thunder, or is a thunderstorm ends up becoming vertically stacked. It becomes perfectly aligned, kind of like a building. And so, if there's one thing that thunderstorms actually want, they want to be tilted. They want to be sideways. And so, since there's a lack of wind shear, you have these thunderstorms becoming straight up and down like a, um, basically like a, what I just say? Basically like a tall tower. And so, you don't want a thunderstorm to be straight up and down like a skyscraper. And that's what's happening tonight because there's not enough wind shear. And so these cells, they're able to form up because there's plenty of energy in the atmosphere, but they can only form up for so long before they start basically dying out because they're too vertically stacked and they kind of choke themselves out. And so that's what's happening more than likely with this cell there in Pearl River County. Lightning on that one. Really, that's the only storm we're seeing lots of lightning with. I'm seeing some lightning strikes over in Franklin County. Um, Maybe a stray lightning bolt over Smith County right now. Um, and that's all I'm seeing across Mississippi right now. We'll stay on this one. We'll see how long this tornado warning is allowed to go for. There is 3/4 inch size hail with this storm. It's about to move into Poplarville. Overall, like I said, very, very broad area of rotation on this storm. So this cell will be over Poplarville by 10:17, so that's roughly 19 minutes before this cell moves right over Poplarville. I'm gonna move over Nortec at 10:08, so in roughly 12 minutes, and then over West Poplarville in about 12 minutes. If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them accordingly. If you're wondering why I'm looking right here a lot, this is kind of where my TV is, making sure everything behind the scenes is going well. Very tight setup tonight. But we do at least have a setup for tonight, so that's great. The only tornado report I'm seeing right now is over in Texas. That was several hours ago. Observed rotation still broadening out a good bit. We'll be over Poplarville in 20 minutes. When's it going to be in the Laurel area? Well, that's hard to say because this is a very broken up line of storms moving through. Because really, you're not going to have that heavy squall line that moves through um, like normal. But I'd say roughly the next wave. I mean, you're going to get some rain probably in about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe close to an hour. but the main line, quote unquote, will move through in about probably 2.5, 3 hours. I'd say 2 to 3 hours, not 2.5 to 3. This is now moving into Poplarville. Overall, the area of rotation with this cell has kind of gone away for now. And so that's a good thing, because that means these cells are probably going to be allowed to expire with the tornado warnings. And that means um, maybe we won't have to be live any longer tonight. Very quick. I know we had tornado warnings earlier, but I mean, they looked fairly weak over Louisiana, so I wasn't too worried about it. What about Stone County? Well, for Stone County, these storms that are currently producing tornado warnings over Pearl River County are going to move over you here probably within the next hour to an hour and a half. And these storms are moving extremely slow. But also, I think they might run out of steam by the time you get there to Stone County. Here's one thing I will say. It looks like your area in coastal Mississippi does have a little bit more energy than the rest of Mississippi. So I would still have a way to get alerts just in case maybe one of these cells decides to spin something up real quick. Just have a way to get an alert. I wouldn't be too worried about it. If you want to go to sleep, I'd go to sleep. Um, but overall, they're in Stone County. Your risk is low, but not zero. Um, I cannot control if tornado warnings get issued. Um, so, I mean, it's possible one gets issued for a weak little area of rotation, but that does not necessarily mean that something will form there in Stone County. So, overall, I'd say you're basically fine to go to sleep. Just have a way to get alerts just in case. Not really expecting anything major. I trying to see if we have anything here. They just let the final tornado warning expire. I think they might have just canceled this final tornado warning. Maybe there's something we don't know on the radar site just yet. Nope, there it is. Like I said, this cell will be over Poplarville now, saying at 10:22. So this cell moving extremely slowly. I think it said 15 miles per hour. Yeah, moving east at 15. So these cells moving extremely slow over Pearl River County. Overall, that line has now began to form, spanning from about Scott County through Copiah County down through St. Francisville, Louisiana. Overall, still a very weak line, a broken up line. Not really expecting a strong squall line tonight. That line just kind of representing the end or the near end point for tonight's storms. Overall, though, plenty of lightning here in central Pearl River County near Poplarville. I'm expecting this tornado warning to um, either be removed or allowed to expire here within the next 15 minutes or so. That area of rotation currently over. See, what road is this? Currently over Derby White Sand Road, if that gives you an idea of where it's at there in Pearl River County. And so that's between the communities of White Sand and Derby. So the name of the road makes sense. Tornado warning allowed to expire in about 11 minutes. And so overall, still fairly weak area of rotation with the storm. But we're going to sit here and we're going to ride it out since we've only been live for roughly, let's see how long, 30 minutes. So we're going to continue to let it ride. We'll keep covering it. It gives a chance for y'all to see me, I guess. But you best bet that as soon as this tornado warning gets done, I'm just gonna go get me a big old glass of sweet tea and enjoy some TV. And I think that's what almost all of y'all should be doing across Mississippi tonight. Sure, you have some heavy rain, some lightning, but overall, I mean, I don't think you're gonna see any wind gusts that are gonna take down many trees tonight. Not saying it's not possible, just saying the odds are just kind of very low tonight. And so, still nothing to really cancel your plans over. Which then again, I guess a lot of people with many plans left tonight. I mean, it is 10:04 already. I guess it is Saturday, and so people might be out late. But I guess if you're out late tonight, I mean, better go to church tomorrow for Easter. So, luckily, gonna be a beautiful Easter after all these storms pass, and so that's gonna be good. Might be a little wet in the morning, but overall, gonna be a beautiful Easter. Gonna be able to go out and get those family pictures, maybe a backyard Easter egg hunt. Gonna be a great Easter across the Magnolia State, and that's one thing I know a lot of people have been looking forward to. So, gonna be an absolutely great time to spend time with family, spend time with the Lord. Gonna be a great Easter across Mississippi. Might get some lingering showers down in south and extreme southern Mississippi by the morning, but overall, let's be real, the day of Easter is gonna be pretty good. Thank everyone for tuning out tonight. I think we got almost up to 30 people tonight, which is pretty funny considering I threw this together in 2 seconds because I saw there was a tornado warning. Really tells you how worried about tonight I am, or I was. Just no reason to cause fear in the public. Um, that's one thing I kind of base Magnolia State weather off of. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about the weather. If I think it's a major problem, I will be live, or I will tell you I'm not gonna be able to be live. And so, general rule of thumb is if I'm not live, I'm not too worried about it. So, overall, this area of rotation going to cross over Poplarville and West Poplarville in about 10 to 13 minutes. And this area of rotation is basically over NORTAC right now, about to cross over US Highway 11, just south of Poplarville. This is the only warning in general across the Magnolia State. No severe thunderstorm warnings. Um, no special weather statements even right now. And so this is the only thing we have going on in Mississippi right now. Is Lawrence County good? Let's find out. Um, I mean, you have some storms off to your west, but yeah, no, these storms are not gonna surprise us like they did on Valentine's Day. I'd say these are gonna move through, gonna give you maybe a strike of lightning or two, but overall, I mean, just some rain that we need over Lawrence County tonight. And speaking of special weather statements, new special weather statement issued for Pearl River County expires in 37 minutes, and that's for 40-mile-an-hour winds with this cell that is also tornado warned as of right now. I hope y'all enjoy the old 80s, 70s wallpaper behind me. I think it adds an aesthetic. I think this is what we're going to go with in the studio actually when that gets built over the summer. I say studio, I just mean a green screen. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the old cars background. I think that'd be great. We got a, let's see, 1911 Rolls Royce. Where's that? This is a 39 Bugatti, a 1909 Model T, 1910 Cadillac Roadster. It's back here somewhere. Tornado warning there in Pearl River County has been deleted. It is gone. They have canceled the tornado warning. So that's where we sit right now. Still fairly warm down here on the coast, and that's probably what's allowing these storms to have a chance. I mean, 75 degrees in Gulfport, dew point of 72, 76 degrees in Biloxi, dew point of 70. So overall, plenty of thermodynamics across Mississippi, just not any wind shear in the atmosphere. And let me tell you this, if we had wind shear today, if there would have just been a decent amount of wind shear across Mississippi, we would have been talking about a fairly impactful severe weather event. And so just God bless that we didn't have that across our area. So that's pretty good. Anyways, no more tornado warnings right now. If we get another tornado warning, I'll go live. But like I said, I'm not too worried about these storms tonight. But anyways, I'm gonna go for now, and I hope y'all have a good night and stay safe. Have a good Easter and have a good night.